Hello everyone, good morning all of you. Welcome to you all in today's sixth online lecture of chapter number 4. And the name of chapter number 4 is Tick Tick Tick. In our previous online session, we studied something about the clock and we just studied the introduction of calendar. Now today we are going to study more things about the calendar and the timeline. Now this timeline is related to clock as well as it is related with calendar. How it is? Let us see in today's session. Calendar. As we know already, a calendar is divided into 12 months. So we can say that these 12 months mix each other and make 1 year. So we can say that 1 year is equal to 12 months. Now our first month is January, second February, third March, fourth April, fifth May, sixth June, seventh July, 8th August, 9th September, 10th October, 11th November and 12th it's a December. So we can say that our year start with January and its end with December. Now you have to remember these all months. Why? Because some of the questions are related with this table. How it is? If I am asking you that, how many months between January and April? How many months between July and December? So if you remember these all months, then you can say easily how many months are there between 2 months. Or in a 1 month, there is a 30 or 31 days. In which month there is a 30 days? In which month there is a 31 days? That already we studied in our previous session. But this 30 or 31 days except February. In a February there is 28 or 29 days. It depends on the year. And in a 1 month there is 4 to 5 weeks are there, and in a 1 week 7 days are there. So which are that 7 days? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Our week start with Monday and it ends with Sunday. As we know already, a normal year has 365 days and a leap year has 366 days. Now, this one day that is the extra we have to add in February, and that day is known as 29th February. But why this thing happen? Why the every year is not a normal year? Why there is a leap year is coming? When it is coming? These all things let us see. Now, as we know already, our earth around rotate around the sun. When our earth rotate around the sun, our 1 year is complete. So we can say that, and the earth takes 365.24,219 days. This is the part, 1/4 part. So in a normal year, we say that In a 1 year, there is a 365 days. Now, what about this extra part, this extra day? So, these extra days are added in each other till 4 years. When till 4 years, this 1/4 part is added, it makes a 1 day. So, this 1 day is known as leap year. So, how we know that this year is leap year or not? So, please remember that thing. If you want to see that this year is leap year or not, what you have to do? You have to just divide the current year. Our current year is 2020. Now just do the division of 2020 divided by 4. So your answer is 505 and your remainder is 0. If you divide any year by 4 and if the remainder is 0, then it is known as leap year. So this our 2020 is known as leap year. So in this year, how many days are there? 366 days are there. Now, our next year, that is the 2021. Now this 2021 divided by 4. At that time, your remainder is 1. So we can say that 2021 is not divided by 4. So 2021 is considered as normal year. In 2021, how many days are there? There is only 365 days. Now, let us see date format. How to write the date in America? As we know already that there are so many types, so many formats to write down the dates. It's different from country to country. Let us see how we write the date in America. They write the dates as month, date, and year. In America, whenever they have to write down the dates, they are write down first month. After that, they are written date and in the last they are written year. See here, for example, the 4th date in January would be written like this, which is the date 4th date and which is the month, it's a January and the number of January is 1. So how they are write down? They are write down like this, January 4, comma, after that they are write down year, that is the 2005. In another way, they are write down 1405. So here first, that is the month, they are write down first month. After that date and after that they are write down year. Or if they want to write down month, year and date in a 2-digit, then they are write down like this, 01, 04 and 2005. Like this they are write down the dates. Now let us see how to write the date in European countries. In European style, they are write down first date, then month and then year. Yes, in our India, we always follow this pattern. Whenever we have to write down the date, we have to write down first date, then month and then year. The same example, if we want to write down the 4th date in January, then how we can write down like this? See, we write down first date, which is the date 4th January 2005. This is in the form of word. If we want to write down a number, then we can write down 4105. Or if we want to write down in a 2-digit date and month, then we just add 0. 04/01/2005. So whenever we have to write down dates, which format we have to follow? First we have to write down date, then month, and then we have to write down year. But in many other countries, they have different format to write the dates. In that they are write down first year, then they are write down month, and in the last they are write down date. Now let us see what is the meaning of decade. Decade is a time period of 10 years. So we can say that one decade is equal to 10 years. And decade has been derived from the Latin word that is the decades. For example, of decade, as we know already, the period of 10 years is known as decade. So let us see the example of decades. The year from 2000 to 2009 forms a decade. You see that there is 10 years between 2000 to 2009. Let us see calculate. In this we have to calculate 2000, then 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 and 2009. So this 2000 to 2009 forms a decade. Let us see what is century. Century means a group of 100 years is known as century. For example, from 2001 to 2100 is known as 21st century. It starts from 1st January 2001 and will end on 31st December 2100. Decade, that is the group of 10 years, whereas the century is the group of 100 years. And what is the name of the group of 1000 years? The group of 1000 years is known as millennium. As we already in a 1 minute 60 seconds are there, in a 1 hour 60 minutes are there, in a 1 day 24 hours are there, in a 1 week 7 days are there, 1 year 52 weeks are there, in a 1 year 365 days. 1 decade is equal to 10 years, 1 century is equal to 100 years, and 1 millennium is equal to 1000 years. Now let us see what is time interval. Time interval is defined as a period between two different points. If we want to find out the difference between two things, then it is known as time interval. For example, the time interval between 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, that is 2 hours. So what is the time interval? This 2 hours is known as time interval. What is the meaning of fortnight? It is the period of 2 weeks, or we can say the period of 14 days and night. It is known as fortnight. So in a fortnight is equal to, we can say, 2 weeks, or we can say 14 days. Now, what is the expiry date? The last date that a product as a food should be used before it is considered spoiled or ineffective, usually specified on the label or the package. Whenever you purchase anything from the market, anything from the shop regarding food or regarding any of the product, you can see the back side of their packing. They are write down some date, manufacturing date they are written, otherwise they are write down package date, and after that they are write down expiry date. So whenever you want to purchase anything from the market, anything from the shop, anything from the mall, first you have to check the expiry date. Why we have to check expiry date? Because that is the date which represent after that day, after that date, you can't use that thing or that product, because the effect, the taste of that product is going to be changed. So if you want to purchase anything from the market, purchase and then just use that thing before its expiry date. Now, lapsed time. Lapsed time means what? Is now how long an event takes from beginning to end. When any event begins and its end, the difference between is known as lapsed time. In our previous session, we see that it starts from 4 o'clock and its end on 6 o'clock. So what is the lapsed time between this 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock? That is the 2 hours. So this 2 hours is known as lapsed time. Now let us see what is timeline. Timelines are number lines that shows when things happen. When many things they were given to you and you have to represent that on the one line. So that line is known as timeline. Timeline can shows the event that happen in a different years, months, days, or even in the hours. So we can draw number line or a timeline for calendar. In calendar, date, year, months are there, and after that, and for the clock also. In that, hours, timings are represented. So, if you want to draw timeline, you have to find out quickly that which event comes first and which event comes last. Then after, see which event comes before and after the another event. Then with the help of this timeline, you can see that which event comes first and last, which event comes and before any of the event. You can see also which event happens between the two events. So let us see study first how we draw timeline. Let us see how we draw timeline. The first rule. First you have to draw one horizontal line, and that horizontal line is known as your timeline. When on the left hand side you have to draw one, you have to mark one point, and that point is known as your starting point. And right hand side mark again one point, that is point is known as your end point. After that, divide the lines into equal segment, or we can say divide into equal parts. And the last step is that to put the events on timeline. The event which occur first, that write down on starting point. The event which occurs in the last, that you have to write down in the ending point, and between these 2 points just arrange the other things. Let us see how we draw timeline. As per the rule, just draw one horizontal line, that is known as your timeline. Then on left hand side mark one point, that is known as your starting point. Right hand side mark one point, that is known as your ending point. And after that draw equal parts, draw equal line segment. And after that write down the events which they were given to you. Let us see how we draw the timeline with the help of one example. See here on the left hand side I am giving some event to you, and after that I am giving the time of that event. At what time which event arrives. So it is not necessary that all the events are given in particular sequence, one after one. Here you can see events are mixed with each other. They are not given in a proper sequence. So first you have to find out which event comes first and which event comes in the last. So we can see that here event woke up first and its end went to bed, it's on last. So we have to write down first woke up, and in the last we have to write down went to bed. And other events we have to arrange. So see, our timeline start with woke up, and the timing of woke up is 7 a.m. and its end on 8 p.m. That is the went to bed. Which event comes after woke up? That is the had breakfast by 8 a.m. After that in the table given had lunch, that is the 12 p.m. But you can see below that went to the supermarket, that is by 10 a.m. So what you have to do? You have to write down first went to the supermarket, and after that you have to write down had lunch. When you know that your wake up time start from 7 and your went to bed by 8 p.m., you have to write down all the times between these two. It starts from 7 o'clock in the morning, so just write down all the time between 7 o'clock morning to till 8 o'clock in the night, and write down the events, the name of the events which comes on that time. So on 10 o'clock he went to the supermarket, so by 12 o'clock he take his lunch. So 12 o'clock you just write down had lunch. After that by 3 o'clock did the laundry. So When you can see 3 p.m., you just write down did the laundry. Then after did her homework, so just write down in the 5 o'clock. Then in 7 o'clock had dinner and by 8 o'clock went to the bed. So this is known as timeline and like this you have to represent these all things. Thank you. I hope you all understand these all things.